Today we want to talk about bringing our message to a logical conclusion. If a message doesn't have a logical conclusion, people will leave confused or coming to their own conclusion, which may not be the conclusion that you wanted them to come to. Logical conclusions come by thinking in a linear way, realizing that if A equals B and B equals C, then A equals C. Two things equal to the same thing or equal to each other. It's that type of logic. You've got to be thinking logically. Sometimes our emotions get in the way. We've got an emotional message, but it isn't necessarily logical. And people can feel the emotion for a while, but again, by the time they get into the parking lot, if it isn't logical, it disappears. So let me talk a little bit about some things that we say that aren't really all that logical. I hear this a lot. I've said it in the past, and I've been very, very careful not to use it often anymore. And that is, we often talk about miracles in the most casual way. Hey, I got a parking space when I was downtown, miracle. Hey, I got out of the hospital one day earlier than the doctor said, miracle. Those aren't miracles. And critical thinking people are going to walk away saying, why did they say that? Are they trying to convince me of something that really isn't true? Or we talk about a prayer, answers to prayer. Hey, you know, I prayed for a parking space when I was downtown, and a guy comes running out of the building, and just in time for me to pull in. Well, you got to be thinking this way because somebody else is sitting out there saying, well, I'm a Christian, and I was downtown, and I prayed for a parking space, and I didn't get one. And I found out about my atheist friend that parked right in the front of the restaurant, and he didn't pray at all. Or the Buddhist that meditates day and night on his navel, and things happen well for him. We often make this statement. We'll say, the reason Christianity is true is because of changed lives. Really? How about all of the different cults and religions all throughout this world that have people stand up and give testimonies as to why they joined Scientology, why they became a Buddhist, why they joined the New Age movement? You know why? There are before and after stories. And you've got people sitting out there, and as soon as they hear you say, the reason Christianity is true is because of changed lives, and don't get me wrong, changed lives do take place because of the gospel, but that isn't what makes Christianity true. The truth of the matter is there are people that are still going to think logically and say, I've got friends that have had just as much of a changed life as what you're testifying of. So why should I buy into what you have to say? You better think that through. When you're building a message, when you're thinking through a message, you've got to think logically. Here again, I think this is a good time to pull some people together as a team and say, particularly if you're struggling with the logic, does this make sense? You know, I've been thinking about this. Does this really make sense? If it doesn't make sense to your team, it probably won't make sense to the people that are sitting in the pew or the chair or the auditorium or wherever you're preaching. You've got to think it through, and you've got to think it through hard. And I would say this requires hard work. I know I've said that with every one of these 6 messages dealing with making it stick. Every one of them is hard work. It isn't just the exposition of the text. It isn't just knowing what the Greek says, the Hebrew. It isn't just knowing what some scholar says about it. It is hard work to be disciplined enough to say, does this make sense? Have I brought this plane to land so that everything makes logical sense to everybody that is out there? And everything that we've said up to this point sort of brings us down to this very point here. Does my message make sense? So make sure you think it over. The next series we're going to start is on making Christ the hero of every single message. If he's not the hero, who is? I'll see you then.